Sofa with Esther. Tuesdays, Words of Wisdom. A space for deep, meaningful conversations about life, well-being, balance, and healing. Join us as we connect, reflect, and grow together on the Sofa with Esther.
So here we go. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are across the globe. Welcome to another fantastic, and I know it's going to be a fantastic conversation with this wonderful artist, Piluca. She's more than an artist. You know, as creatives, we are so many things. There's so many dimensions to us. I say that as a creative, we're like a spider's body, and there's so many different things that branch off. And so I had the privilege of seeing Piluca do her creative magic at an event last week, Monday. You know, there was a jacket that she was given to redesign. And so we're going to tap down with this wonderful creative. But before we go any further, Piluca, I love the name, Piluca. It's got a song to it, hasn't it? Piluca, I feel like I created a song.
Yeah, you're pronouncing it very well, I must say.
Yes, it's a very sexy name. But Piluca, I like to ask my guests in a nutshell, in a peanut shell, and you look like a coconut shell. Very briefly, who is Piluca?
Well, Piluca was born in Spain, Madrid, but I've lived most of my life here in Brixton, South London.
Okay.
And I am an artist. I have dabbled with so many things in art, from animation to painting, sculpture. I did my degree in Kingston University in fine art. And but of late, I recently started doing street art, which I'm very, very keen on. Only this week, I've done 2 murals in Lick Street Tunnel, Waterloo. And I also launched my own fashion brand, I'm Here to Play, the 30th of May. I'm very excited about that.
Brilliant. And so what was the name of the fashion brand? Or is it your name?
I Am Here to Play.
Whoa. Fantastic, fantastic. And let's peel that away a little bit more. So I am here to play. What are you playing with? What is the play, Piluca?
Well, the notion of the name came out of me pondering what are we here for in life. I think that is something that we all ask ourselves. What is the purpose? What am I doing in life? And we all want to leave a mark one way or the other. But then, you know, I kept on thinking, yes, everyone pursues careers and when I do this, I want to do that. But I really and truly am thinking, I think we're just here to play. And when I mean play, I mean be joyful as much as we can when we can. And just enjoy the ride of life. Life is nothing but a journey.
Yes.
So I think it's important when I mean play, I mean utilize the time given to make it the most joyful ride that we could possibly get, whilst we can do it.
But I would say, and I'm just presenting this, some people may say, you know, life has been incredibly difficult and challenging, and I keep having those experiences. How can I find that space within myself to play? And sometimes they're so locked into those challenges that play is no longer there to reach into. How can you support them in seeing beyond that or through that, Piluca? I'm going to mention your name so many times throughout this.
I love it. But you know, I'm so glad that you asked that question, Esther, because you just hit the nail in the head. I actually wrote a book that is called The Little Book of Huge Achievements.
Yeah.
And that book stemmed from my life experiences. I've actually had quite a intensely traumatic life, to put it mildly. And that is something that a lot of people, that even when they've known me for many, many years, they could never even guess, because I'm normally a very cheerful and joyful person. That is exactly why. I know well what pain and grief is very, very well. But I understood that life goes hand in hand with pain. The more you experience love, the more you'll experience grief. And reciprocally. So whilst I told you that we need to play, and I was very conscious, I was saying, whilst we can, it's because then when the tough times come, we just need to brace ourselves, navigate through it, because it will end. Nothing lasts forever, nor the good times, nor the bad ones. So when we are in a place in life, I've always said, Esther, life is not what happens to you, but how you react to what happens to you. And that is ultimately in our power. It's our choice. And I know this is not an easy thing to do, but if it's like going to the gym, you need to do some sort of soul exercise to learn to overcome things, because getting dragged down in a particular circumstance because it's grief, you may never move on from grief. You may not, but it's your choice. If you work on it, you learn to live with it, then, because what happened is happened, the past is past and the future is uncertain. We need to live the present. So when I talk about play, you know, like I play with clothes, I bring a new lease of life, because what I do, like you saw, I upcycle old garments and I give them a new lease of life. I'm being playful with it. And that is I mean, I hope that answered your question.
It has. And as you're talking, what comes to me also is, as much as we have to keep moving through what we're going through, but also allow ourselves to feel the emotion of whatever we're experiencing, we don't allow ourselves to stay there, because oftentimes you can feel yourself being sucked into it if you stay there. But just allow yourself to feel the grief, feel what you're going through. And on some level, it's to know that you can come through, that you don't need to stay there. And oftentimes we can stay in there because it defines us on some level. So,
absolutely.
So how can we define ourselves in that moment, in that space, but know that we can come through? And I love what you said in terms of when you were talking about, we will have these moments of joy and happiness, and then we're going to have these, it's just part of life. And it just reminded me of the scales of life. You know,
life is a balance. Life is a balance. It's a balance. You know, it's like, and it's funny because we can use the analogy of getting like the jacket I did live on this event. And it's an old garment that maybe people just leave this car. They don't want it anymore. It's been used. It's not good enough. But then you can give it a new lease of life. The life is exactly the same. It's your choice. Okay, this is what is happening to me. I need to process everything and then just move on.
But then I want to ask you, and I know we're going a little deep with this, but I know you'd appreciate this. You've mentioned the word choice a lot of times, and we do have choice, but sometimes we don't recognize that we have choice. And it's that sort of very fine line between, do I really have a choice, or understanding that?
Always.
Yes, but
always.
And I'm trying to get somewhere with this. Sometimes it's almost feels like damned if I do and damned if I don't. But someone will still say to you, you still have a choice. How would you sort of unpeel that so that people will know that in those moments, making that choice also there's a power in that?
100%. So I always tell my children, the minute you realize that your life is nothing but a sequence of choices, your life is nothing. Would you pay attention to this? It's such a powerful statement. Your life is nothing but a sequence of choices. From the minute you open your eyes, you choose to get out of the bed. You're choosing to get out of bed. You could choose, I'm just going to stay here. But you choose to get out of bed. When people say, oh, I'm in this job and I don't like it, I hate it, stop that job. Oh, no, but I have to. No, you don't have to. You're choosing to. Now, this is the thing. And but then I said, that's different. The minute we understand that our life is our choice, it's so empowering that it shifts a lot of things. And all of a sudden, magic happens because you are powerful. You're in charge of your own life. You may let people affect you when they say things. You may let things affect you when something happens, and you may not. It's our choice. And like I said to you, I know it's not easy, but just like we go to the gym to flex the muscles and make them grow, we need to go to the gym of the soul and try to, learn to overcome these things and make it easier for us.
And that's the thing, life is an adventure, and it's not that we just drop into this sense of awareness. All those experiences there were times when I responded in a certain way, something comes to mind, and I used to get really mad. My Sagittarius would go, boom, boom, boom. And then I remember my boys saying to me, but Mum, if you know this is the outcome every time you have a conversation, why are you getting angry? And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to reclaim back my power, and I'm going to do what I feel I need to do, what that's right at that moment in time, and then I will do blah, blah, blah. But I do admit sometimes, I would say, sometimes I said, oh, yes, I am allowing myself to get pissed because that's how I'm feeling at the moment. I'm not feeling very generous. I'm not feeling like I want to be the Buddha today. But I will own it.
And it's okay,
and I will own it. But the more that I journey with myself and have that conscious awareness, it's the more like you don't go into certain places like that you used to before. And then you have this conscious, it's a bit like a Jiminy Cricket. You have this little conscious spot on your shoulder saying, and it becomes almost second nature after a while. It gets easier.
Yeah, it is. You need to create a habit. It's also like, I also like to tell my children all the time, if you point out at very small children, you realize how happy children are. Everyone knows children are very happy. I'm talking about below 6. And the reason why, as I asked my 11-year-old, I said, what do you think children are so happy, Malachi? And I said, children the more we grow up, the more we start thinking of the past and the future all the time. Whereas children live in the present. That's why children are so happy, because they're not, that's the shame, I think, of humanity, that we spend most of our thinking time thinking of something that has happened or something that's going to happen, or we think it's going to happen, because the future is uncertain. And how crazy is that, Esther? Because if you stay in the very same present, that's why if you argue with a little one, it gets over things so quick. Whereas we hold on to something, like we don't want to let go.
And isn't that because you have responsibilities sometimes, and people are trying to, most people are living in this place of existence. And so how am I going to provide? Especially if you've got kids. I was with my grandkids, the 2 younger ones, and there is this sense of jumping around and just doing things without a care in the world. But I guess also they haven't developed the understanding of the future. Whereas as an adult, the more that you grow into that adult space, there's the way we perceive the world changes. But I would say that as we grow into adult, it's how we can hold on to the attributes of the child as we grow into that adult space. And and then that helps us balance. Because sometimes I've done things and my boys are like, Mum, the grandkids are watching, and I forget. I'll do a silly dive and then they'll do it and they're like, Mom, but then they know me as well. And for me, it's so important to hold on to that silliness. And now my boys just look at me and like, just ignore her. But in the adult space, it's it's important for us to, even if it means to dance, dancing opens up this beautiful portal of release and relinquishing, because in that space, you can just lose sense of everything that you're having to manage and deal with and carry and do. And just like you said about your fashion, the name of your fashion.
Yeah, but it's funny that you mentioned dance, because that's what I do. If you go to my Instagram page, my personal one, you see a lot of dancing. My son and I, we dance every single morning. We've done it since he's 5 years old. We dance together. And one day I decided to record it. when he was like 5. And it's so beautiful because it became a routine, a habit. And we start the day dancing. And like you said, dancing is so powerful in many, many ways. You start releasing a lot of very good hormones for your body, and it sets the tone. And it's a bonding thing between my son and I. And then I'm creating memories. I'm playing.
Yes.
And this is the thing. I wake up, the first thing I do, I'm on a bit of play. I'm very childlike. Everyone points out all the time, she's like a child. But I guess I have that zest for life and playfulness. I get excited about life, Esther.
Yes.
Because life is a wonderment. And I'm like,
Yes.
I'm alive and I just want to do it all. I'm like, I'm so excited.
Being like a child in a sweetie shop. I often get told, well, you want to do that as well? I said, I haven't even started. That's just one aspect of me. I've done that. I want to try that and I want to try something else. Why not?
Why
Leave
not?
me alone. Why not? And so, Piluca, tell us where you're going with what you're doing as you sort of navigate the magic. I see you on, it's almost like you're on the ocean and you're, up and down with the waves. And then you're underneath the waves, and then you're above the waves. So where is Piluca going?
You're very magical because you are saying things. It seems like you've known me. I've always have an analogy with life of us being on a boat, on our own vessel. Always said that. I always talk about bad times as storms that come and they may wreck a little bit your vessel. You may be wet, but the clothes will dry. We can repair the vessel, which is, and we become better sailors. So yes, that's what I'm doing. I go with the current. I know I was born to do what I'm doing. I fought all my life to be where I am. And it hasn't been easy because being an artist is not easy. But like I did a painting once that says, I'd rather have a hard life trying to do what I love than not trying at all and be utterly miserable. So at the moment, I'm focusing on my fashion brand and street art. They are like absolutely right now my main focus. I want to achieve absolute, I wouldn't say perfection because I don't like that word. I think it's beautiful. Perfection is imperfection, but I want to dominate the can and become a really, really good street artist. I love a challenge, and my worst competitor. I compete with myself.
Yes.
I go out there and as much as I can, I'm always trying to better myself. And when it comes to my fashion brand, that has always been innate to me. When I was very young, I used to paint my trousers, my friends' trousers, always, which back then you wouldn't see those things. So I think it was in me, fashion is a way of expressing yourself and tell the world this is who I am. And I think it's beautiful, It's a playful thing to do because you can play and, like the glasses you're wearing now, because that first thing I said, I love those glasses. Is beautiful and it's a way of communicating with people, make them smile.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And winding down, I mean, this has been incredible. I just love your energy. And hopefully someone who's sitting on the wall in terms of their dreams, because, society often says that we still have that narrative of being in the box. But what would you say to someone who wants to step into their magic and who wants to play?
I would say to everyone, I tell my kids all the time, I said to them, look, I did study law in Spain and I come from quite an academic background. And so I come from a background where you had to do a serious degree. My children are very gifted academically, but I tell them, do what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. And if you're happy, I don't care what you do. I wouldn't care less for as long as you wake up every day and thinking, I'm going to work with a smile in your face. And this is what I would tell anyone that has a dream. Don't ever give up. Giving up is not an option. Don't, because this is what I'm saying. Life is not the goal, the end goal. Life is the journey. And it doesn't matter if you never get there. Life is the journey. And once we realize that, then everything shifts.
Yeah.
And then you wake up saying, I'm going to do something I love doing. You'll find ways. The universe will provide.
Absolutely.
The universe always provides. I have the strong belief that everyone knows, everyone has a gift, one way or the other. And by any means, these days, because social media and the internet, everyone wants to be famous and everyone wants to. A gift doesn't necessarily mean being a singer, or it can be a teacher. We need teachers in the world. We all need each other. And that's what I always tell people. I love to be appreciative of everybody, from the janitors to the bus drivers, to we all need each other. How am I gonna, what would it be of a country that is not clean? Why? We all need each other. I appreciate humankind as a whole. We're all a team. And we all give each other our gift in one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So once you learn that's the difficult part, though, to understand what is that you want to do in life. I must say that is not easy. Some people struggle to find it. But I guess introspection and, trying to find who you are as a human, like I said, but it's all a process. And each human is you. No one will ever be like you. No one will ever be like me. No one will ever be like any other. So make of your humanness the most. And that's one of the things on I'm Here to Play, my brand. I did a collection that is called the Human Code. And it's actually to celebrate humanity. In the times of AI. So, I mean, it's imperative right now. Everything is AI. And it's only going to get no worse because it's not really bad. But AI will be everywhere. It is almost everywhere now. So the more AI is taking over, the more I feel like I want to celebrate humans, our creativeness, our chaos, our imperfections. We are everything that AI is not. And I think we should celebrate that. And stop giving ourselves such a hard time all the time.
And what is given, I know I said I'm going to wind down, but just last really. But when you say giving ourselves a hard time, just define that. What do you mean by that?
I think we put too much pressure in ourselves. And if you delve deep into people are so hard on themselves all the time. Let it be physically, let it be work-wise, we'll feel like a failure. If you go and tell people, anybody, look at them, stay looking at them and say, you're so unique. They're going to be like, oh, thank you. But guess what? You are unique. And how amazing that when you tell someone that they are unique, they feel so flattered. But they are unique. It's so crazy. If they realize how beautifully special they are in their own existence, just by existing, I think society is putting it's making it so hard for everyone. Like we're all social media is a lie.
Yes.
It's a big lie. And Alexa, stop. Sorry, probably it's going to tell me to drink water. Alexa reminded me to drink water. So it's like I can see sometimes these very, very young girls and, oh God, altering their faces. And I'm like, why? It's so beautiful. So this is what I'm saying is people are very harsh on themselves. Love yourself.
Follow something that's not them. Their individuality has been stripped. And so as much as they feel they are being individuals, when you look at them as a collective, they all look the same, sound the same. And so there's this, it's almost like there's blinkers on, all the social media. There's this image that they feel they have to follow in order to be validated, in order to be seen, but they don't realize they lose their individuality amongst that. And if you stood them up, they'd all pretty much look the same. But they can't see it because they are following something that society dictates. This is going to make you, this is going to put some sort of control into your hands. This is going to give you 1,000, 1,000,000 likes. This is going to validate you because people are going to be tick, tick, tick. And yet when they, I'm sure, I'm just saying that when they go back into their own space, there's a loneliness and there's more of a craving, for even more so, to go back out there, to be validated, to follow, to look the same. But we, like yourself, like I said to those that I interviewed previously, I'd love to do a part 2 with you, because this, creativity is also the understanding of self as part of that whole self-expression.
Yeah.
And with that self-expression, it starts to break us down. It starts to peel away, and it brings us through this tunnel to see, actually, this is me. And how can I embrace me without, I remember when I was at school, I was always on the outside because I had an innate understanding of who I am. I'm not saying I was perfect, that's not what I'm saying, but I had an innate understanding of who I was. And I was always on the outside because in my mind, I didn't understand, well, why do I need to be part of a pack? I don't understand what they're saying. I don't understand what they're doing. They were into boys and stuff. That wasn't my gig. I didn't understand that. Didn't mean anything to me. And yet I was ostracized because I was a bookworm, because I was this and that. But I was fine. And then as I grew up, I was fine. Because I wasn't following. I didn't need to be. And I'm going to shut up in a minute. And I always remember one time when because my parents were quite strict, and I was allowed out to some event, and everybody showed up in short, tight black. And I had on these pleated culottes that when you walk, you can sort of see through them, and like a fitted jacket. But I didn't do that because I wanted to, it wasn't me being rebellious. That was just who I am.
Yeah. But do you know it everything that you're saying, and this is what happens to humankind. So humans have evolved. Imagine, I'm gonna put it graphically so you understand. So our minds have evolved from the time we became Homo sapiens till now. This is how minds have evolved. Do you know how much of that we have evolved in our instincts? Yes. Now we're in a huge disconnection, and that you're saying is a very primitive instinct, wanting to belong to a tribe. Because when you belong to a tribe, you have more chances of survival. Let it be for hunting for food, protection if comes a mammoth or a tiger, you're a tribe, you protect. So our human instinct is always to tribe up. Survival. The key, that's what that should be taught in schools. Why our stress, everything we do, we're literally just following patterns of primitive instincts to survive. Once we understand that, then we understand why we behave the way we behave. Social media is a huge release of dopamine. And that's why we're more, it's dopamine. And now we have such a huge doses of dopamine everywhere, all the time. I don't know where this is going to go, to be honest. I don't know. It's kind of daunting when you think of it, because we're so used to getting stimulated in constant basis.
Absolutely, yes.
And I would definitely, if I had the power to teach children, because children is our future society is the children now. And I will teach them how to be way more emotionally intelligent.
It's like a lot of them are already, a lot of them
are kind of, they're very clued up. You're absolutely right.
They are dropping in, they've dropped in.
See, it's like what you're saying, that you were your own persona and you were happy. We need more parents like that to just be yourself, analyze, why am I doing this? Emotional intelligence. And I think that'll be a great shift in humankind. I really hope so anyway.
Well, Piluca, it's been a really incredible I'm not even going to say interview, conversating. I love that word. We've been conversating and looking forward to seeing more of your creativity out there. So where can people find you, get hold of you, become part of this wonderful, magical swirl? Because I just see this swirl. You feel like a Mary Poppins.
Yes, yes.
And her umbrella is a big lollipop. So
Yes, no, come and join my world of. So my page is on Instagram. It's called Piluca World. And it's because of that, because I live in my own world of madness. Pilucaworld.art is my work page. And then I'm Here to Play is the new, my new fashion brand. I'm working on both my websites now. They're updating. So once I have that, I will make sure I make lots of noise about it on my Instagram pages. But yeah, if you give me a follow or pass through the channel, you're very likely to see me spraying something on the walls.
Brilliant. Well, I just want to say thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. I've been talking to Piluca, and I hope you've been inspired in some way. I know I have been. And, you know, when we sit in the presence of each other like this authentically, we're not competing, we are growing together,
complementing each other,
we're complementing. And so before I go into another sort of 20 minutes, half an hour, I'd just like to say thank you so much.
Thank you, Esther.
Thank you. Back on the sofa with Esther again.
Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to click the bell icon for notifications on future videos. Thank you for watching.